questions about it, man. It's the show that brings you to your raw. To solve all problems, it starts with real talk. Real talk. It's 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 real talk. Yeah. Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Chip Washington. It's real talk. It's real talk. It's real talk.
And here we go on this Monday evening, a very hot, steamy, humid Monday evening in the city. But I digress. It's 6 o'clock, which means it is time for another live and all new edition of Real Talk Memphis. Glad to have you with us. I am your program host. My name is Chip Washington, and you know who you are, so we're all square on that. Again, I hope that you've had a good week. As Lola alluded to before she signed off on her show, it's going to be a hot week. It's 96 outside right now, and it's going up incrementally every day this week. We'll see these temperatures going right through Thursday and maybe even into Friday. No rain in the forecast. And you know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing grass is like turning brown. It's dead. I mean, the heat has been that intense this summer. I mean, it's slowing down the growth. It's probably killing a lot of the grass. The yards are turning brown out here. It's really, so this is the kind of heat that you don't want to mess with. And of course, you all know the hot weather rules. And no, you can't get around it. If you have to be outside for extended periods, drink plenty of fluids, water. Where's the camera? Water. That helps in instances like this, of course. And watch your pets and your plants and check on your seniors as well. Because August, my friends, is going out like a lion, man. I'm telling you, this is the last week of August. And boy, oh boy, it's letting us know what August is all about. Glad to have you with us. We have another good show for you this evening. You can catch us in a myriad of ways. Of course, if you're checking us out on radio right now, it's 91.7 on your FM dial, WYXR. You can also catch us on the WYXR app. We are on the TuneIn app, TUNEIN. You can also find us we're live streaming tonight on Facebook Live. So if that's your preferred method of checking us out, you can do that as well. Also, when the show posts in the next day or so, you can catch us on YouTube a bit later on this week. And as we are a podcast, you can catch us wherever it is you get your podcast. Very good. Very good. Let's run down the guest list for tonight. We're going to talk about seniors and the health of seniors, and then we're going to talk about a fun event that the city looks forward to each and every year. We're going to be talking about health and wellness from our guest from Tresvant. His name is Paul Martin. He's the Vice President of Health and Wellness for Tresvant, and he's going to talk to us about how to keep seniors engaged. As they get older, a lot of things happen, and kind of what we can all do to kind of help in that regard. A little bit later on, we're going to talk. We've had this conversation before, but I thought it was important to have it again. Alzheimer's and dementia is no joke for many people. There's a lot to deal with in terms of that, especially if one of your family members is dealing with that. Well, there's going to be another seminar. There was one not too long ago. There's going to be another seminar that will be held soon talking about dementia and Alzheimer's, how it affects families, how it affects caretakers, and how you can deal with this. This is a disease, and people die from Alzheimer's as well, and those numbers have gone up as well. So I look forward to having that conversation. And a little bit later on, we're going to shift gears to an event that is growing in popularity. It's called 901 Day, which, of course, is the first day of September. Of course, 901. We live in the 901 area code. So, yeah, there's going to be a big party, a big celebration that they have each and every year commemorating that. And I have a couple of folks from the city of Memphis who are going to tell us what you can expect from 901 Day this year. But first, as we always do, we like to celebrate you and your birthday and your celebrations and the whole 9 yards, whether you had a birthday over the weekend or whether you have one today, and quite a few of you do. This is the shout out. I can't shout anybody out until I say, hit it, Bren. A lot of birthdays to run down on this 26th day of August 2024. Latoya Borland celebrating her birthday today. Omar Youssef, happy birthday to you. Kenneth Robinson, happy birthday to you, sir. Terry Lynn Harrison celebrating today, as is Eric Austin. Venus Brinkley celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to Leroy Watson, to John Miller. Happy birthday to Catherine Nathan, to Harold Bird celebrating today, as is Cheryl Jackson and Michelle Renee Ellis Fisher. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. Lola stepped out, so I don't think she's had any birthdays today, but for all of you who do, we're celebrating. I hope it's been a day of fun and laughter for each and every one of you. And we hope to be around next year as we celebrate your next trip around the sun. Thank you very much, Brent. All right, so let's take a look at some news and notes and see what we can come up with. Well, the Democratic National Convention is over. Everybody's back, hopefully safe to wherever they came from, all across the country, as they gathered in Chicago last week, to celebrate the Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. And now the work begins. You're back, and now it's up to you. It's your decision. You decide who you want to lead this country and where you want this country to go for the next 4 years. It is on you and me and all of us who are of voting age. So you make those decisions, but more importantly, get out and exercise your right to vote. There's no excuse whatsoever. And if you don't get out and vote, please, I don't want to hear your mouth. Don't complain about a thing, because you really don't have a right to, because you weren't part of the process, okay? If you're not part of the process, you're surely not part of the solution. I'll move on from that. Let's see, in other news, this is a very interesting story, and this came down today. You know, I've had conversation on this show in the past about the folks up in the State House in Nashville thinking that they control everything that goes on in the state, in particular Memphis and Shelby County. Well, here we go again. The state is now threatening that if gun control measures the city of Memphis is trying to get on the ballot in November, you know, those referendums that happened after the Tyree Nichols incident? Well, the state is saying if this local referendum winds up on the ballot, they are threatening to take away the loss. They're threatening to take away our sales tax revenue. The state says that they will threaten the city with the loss of sales tax dollars, which amount to millions and millions of dollars each and every year, if that measure stays on the ballot. So we're trying to, let's get this straight. So we're trying to protect ourselves around here with this rampant gun violence that we see every 5 minutes in town. Everybody's got a gun, a weapon of some kind. So we're trying to put some referendums and some initiatives in place that maybe will require people to get a background check, or require testing and some other things, and prohibit buying AR, 47s, AK-47s, and the whole 9 yards. Well, the state says, well, you know what? That goes against state law. So if you decide, Memphis and Shelby County, that you want to put that on the ballot, city of Memphis, then we might just withhold your sales tax dollars. You see why I say it's important to get involved in what happens around here, because it does affect you one way or another. So the state was going to impose the big brother rule and say, you know what, you can't do this, city of Memphis. So what is the city of Memphis going to do? This is you're kind of crossing the line as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about you, but that is, in my humble opinion, just way over what should be the right thing to do. Because the local law enforcement, the local legislators here are trying to do the right thing to keep our city safe. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Many of you are aware of what is going on with Meta. We had the executive director on, the president, the interim president, Bakara Malden, on this show about a week or so ago, and she told us that there were going to be some big-time cuts happening. The downtown trolley's not running. 17 folks lost their jobs in terms of that. There's now a proposal to scrap about 200 positions. Now, MATA only employs just a little over 500 folks. So they're gonna scrap. The plan is to scrap about 7 underperforming bus routes here in the city, and let go about 200 people. This is a pretty dramatic situation. A lot of people are on the hook now and could be losing their jobs any minute now. The board has to vote on these recommendations because MATA is in a big hole. And the only way they're going to get out of this hole is to try to counterbalance this thing. People are angry. Riders are angry. Citizens are angry. Well, I don't blame them. They should be. Because this doesn't necessarily fix the problem, but it adds more people to the unemployment rolls. This, too, we will keep a track of and let you know how it all unfolds. Former Memphis police officer Emmett Martin III, who was involved in the death of Tyree Nichols, pled guilty on Friday to 2 of 4 counts in his federal case against him. Now, 3 other officers are set to go to trial, and that trial is supposed to take place September 9th, I believe. So far, we've not heard any more plea deals. 2 officers have gone for a plea deal. The one in this case that happened on Friday with Martin, the prosecutors are recommending a 40-year sentence. No more than 40 years on the federal charges. The judge will make the final determination, and this should happen sometime later on this year, I believe in December. That takes a look at news and notes. Football season is back. College football season is back. Memphis Tigers play this coming weekend. So, yeah, it's on this Labor Day weekend. It's a lot of ball going on all over the country. And I, for one, am excited about that. How about we take our first break? And when we come back, we'll get into what I think is a pretty interesting show. I hope that you do as well. Sit back, relax, get you a nice cool beverage, and hang out with us for the next hour. I hope that it will benefit you as I think it will benefit us. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Brent is here. Lola's here. We're all here, and we're all ready to go. Let's take our first break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR, including our 2024 Stereo Session series, comes from Beale Street Caravan. Long-running roots music radio show Beale Street Caravan is syndicated globally with outlets in Canada, the UK, Australia, and more. Produced steps away from WYXR right here in Memphis. Co-hosted by me, Jared J.B. Boyd, with Memphis music maven and Soulsville Foundation CEO Pat Mitchell-Worley. Each episode brings fans near and far up close to the Bluff City's live music scene. Broadcasted every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. right here on WYXR. More information at BillStreetCaravan.com.
GonerFest 21 is coming September 26th through the 29th to Rail Garden. The annual musical festival put on by Goner Records brings bands from all over the world to Memphis to celebrate rock and roll in the city where it was born. This year's lineup includes the Ripoffs, John Spencer, Derv Gordon, Felder Space, GT, Rosalie, Split System, and more, live and in person. Tickets and more information at GonerFest.com.
Support for WYXR, including our 2024 stereo sessions, comes from Duncan Williams Asset Management, specializing in financial management for individual investors, businesses, nonprofits, and foundations. More information at dwassetmgmt.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
It's real talk. 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 It's real talk.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this warm Monday evening. Chip with you. Very glad that you are with us this evening as well. And as I alluded to at the top of the show, dementia and Alzheimer's are two words that for many people cause a lot of pain. It is about as tough a medical illness as a person can get. Basically, you live your entire life, and then one day it's like you just don't know because your mind tends to kind of walk away from you. But we wanted to talk a little bit about this. This is such an important issue and valuable issue. I thought it was important to bring some folks back to talk a little bit more about this. I read earlier today that dementia, more people are dying each and every day of dementia, which was really surprising to me. But in any event, I'm very happy to have my first guest on the show this morning. Kristen Miller from Mid-South Aging is joining us, and Marilyn Rucker. And Marilyn has been on the show before, and we've talked about this issue. Ladies, good evening to you. How is everybody doing tonight?
Good evening, Chip. Thanks for having us. We're doing great.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you for being here. And I guess I want to talk about this. You all have a seminar coming up. But this, to the nuts and bolts of this, Kristen, if you can hear me, I want to kind of talk about this. I mean, you work for the Mid-South Aging. And I guess first things first, how big a problem is Alzheimer's and dementia these days? And is it getting worse?
Yes and yes. So we know that right now in the United States, there are about 6 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia. Dementia is a word that means a group of diseases that cause problems with memory and thinking. We also know that number is projected to double in the coming years. Part of the reason for that is because our society is aging. We have more older adults now than we've ever had before. And in just a few short years, the number of people over 65 will outnumber the number of people under 18.
Oh, wow. Okay. So people are living longer is what you're saying, correct?
That's part of it.
Okay.
And we know that the number one risk factor for dementia of any cause is age.
Is age. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, this does seem to be a bit of an issue. So as you said, the predictions are that it's going to get even worse as time continues to move forward because people are, living longer and the whole 9 yards. This is something, and I know that when Marilyn was on the show last time, we talked about this. This is really not only debilitating for the individual in question, but the family members in particular, and those who are acting as caretakers for these individuals as well. Do we know enough about this, Kristen, to be able to inform folks about what they need to expect and how they need to take care of folks who are dealing with this, do you think?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I do in my line of work. I own a consulting business called Mid-South Aging Consultant. And I also run a nonprofit called Memory Makers of the Mid-South that has free programs for those that have dementia and their caregivers. And one of the things that I do when I meet with families is we go through all of the things from their estate planning. What documents do they need to have in place? What can they expect from this disease? What are the complications? How do they communicate better? Where can they go to find support? What are some helpful books and websites? Who needs to be on their medical team? How do you care for yourself as a caregiver? It's so much. And we also, of course, go over options for care and how to pay for that care. And I think that part is the biggest part that people are unprepared for, is the financial burden.
Wow, that is that's really something in terms of this. I'm just thinking here as I'm listening to you talk, Marilyn. We had this conversation before. You all had a seminar about this not too long ago, and we're going to talk about the upcoming seminar that you're going to have about this. You went through this personally yourself, so you understand how difficult a task this is for people to have to deal with. Is this one of the reasons why you thought it was so important for you all to get more information out to the public, especially since more people are dealing with this on a daily basis?
Yes, Chip, this is one of the reasons that I'm very passionate about this. I went through this. I experienced it with my mom for 14 years.
Wow.
So because I had to go through it and learn, I thought that I would share. And I'm in the healthcare industry myself. So I decided to develop a seminar for families to come out and learn about healthcare. And quarterly, I introduced something different each month. And I just thought that it would be so important because I've seen the changes in the lifestyle of individuals and families striving to understand this disease of Alzheimer's and dementia. So this time I will be doing Before I Forget, Remind Me of How Much I Am Loved.
Now, on that point right there, that's a powerful title, by the way, of this, how important is that? How important is that to let people know, as regularly as you can while they still have their faculties and can understand it, just how valued they are, just how appreciative they are, just how supported and loved they are, because that to me right there is really a trigger for so much. Either one of you can answer that question.
Right. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Go ahead. Well, the reason I thought about this, Chip, is because before they forget, the caregivers really don't understand the disease itself. And instead of reacting, there are resources out here that can help you to have the ability to deal with the different personalities, the different levels of this diseases and the stages, the processes, the resources that are available. So you can give them love while they're going through this, because this is something detrimental to them as well as to the family members.
Yeah, go ahead, Kristen. You want to say? Go ahead. What you want to say?
And a couple of things that I tell the families that I work with are, number one, nobody asked for this. Your loved ones certainly didn't ask for their brain to become their own worst enemy. You certainly didn't ask to be put in this position. Mostly people at this stage of life envision their golden years doing all the things that they wanted to do that they couldn't while they were working, and now they've been handed this disease. And then the second point is that even though a person has dementia, they can still have a good quality of life. And making it a good quality of life means that we have to change the way we communicate in order to accommodate their needs, and still looking for those moments of joy and connection.
Yeah, that to me is, and that's a very, again, it's an extraordinarily difficult situation that people find themselves in. I was talking to a family member not too long ago, and who was in her 70s, and she said, one of my biggest nightmares is to wake up one day after living a full life and not remember anything or anyone who was in it. Including children. I know, Marilyn, obviously this situation continues to evolve, and in terms of the information output. The last time you had one of these seminars, and we'll give everybody all the information. Don't worry about that. But the last time you had one of these, you had an overflow crowd of people who wanted to hear and wanted to be a part of this and wanted to understand this. Did that at all surprise you, based on what you know, or given what you know about this disease?
Well, it didn't surprise me, Chip, because I work for a facility, Majestic Gardens at Memphis, and this is one of the reasons I decided to sponsor. There are so many families out here dealing with this. But one thing that surprised me is the lack of knowledge the resources that are out here, and we are not giving it to the community. They have no idea which way to go. I just had a friend to ask me, what can he do? His mother just shut down on him, and she won't talk, and he thinks that it's something personal. So it's real, and I was amazed at how many people just are out here looking for the help, and we want to be the ones to help them.
That's very, very interesting. Kristen, you know, when you mentioned at the top that we're seeing more and more cases of this because more people are living longer, but would you echo the sentiments of what Marilyn just said about the fact that, you know, there are resources, but that people don't know. But I think one of the things is each and every day are researchers trying to figure this thing out. Is there more information for people to learn and understand about dealing with this, whether you're a family member or a caretaker?
Absolutely. Yes, on both of those questions. We have learned so much about the pathology of Alzheimer's disease, about risk factors that you can modify now to lower your overall risk of developing dementia. And right here on the threshold is a blood test so that they can test your blood years before symptoms ever appear, because a lot of times there is damage occurring in the brain that we can't see and feel until some of these behaviors start to appear. And by that time, it may be too late for the newest class of drugs that are on the market to really be effective at slowing it down. And then there are people that are just hungry for knowledge and wanting to know, you know, what help is there available to me. There's also a lot of misconceptions about the care that is available. People tend to think Medicare is going to pay for everything, and that's really not the case. And they're kind of shocked to find that out.
Before we let you go, Marilyn, give our listeners all of the information, the who, what, where, how, in reference to this latest seminar that you all are hosting.
Okay, Chip, on September the 11th, which will be a Wednesday evening from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., we will be at the Memphis Public Library. That's 3030 Poplar Avenue. And on the panel will be Christian Miller, who joined me this evening, and also Katrina Kimball. She will actually be from the Alzheimer Association. We will be there answering questions, just holding your hand and guiding you step by step, because a lot of people are so afraid, and we want to be the ones to help you. The seminar, again, is Before I Forget, reminds me how much I am loved. And the whole umbrella under this seminar is be informed, and it's just taking the buzz out of healthcare, the myths, the truths, the resources where you can get help from, and what is needed for a healthy quality of life. And
before we let you go, this is a free event, is it?
It is a free event.
So anyone who has any questions, any thoughts about this, and you mentioned it too, both of you did, fear about what the unknown and what could happen down the road. This is a must. If you have, if you're dealing with that, this is a must go to event. Am I correct in that?
It is a must go to event, and also, Chip, it's not just for the patient that is experiencing this. The caregivers need help as well, and there will be resources for them available also.
Well, listen, Kristen Miller and Marilyn Rucker, Thank you so much for coming on the show. This is a very sensitive topic of conversation, but it is one that so many of us need to hear, and we're very thankful for organizations like yours who are devoting the time, effort, and energy to trying to educate us about such a complicated set of diseases in dementia and Alzheimer's. Thank you both for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate it, and I hope you come back again down the road.
We thank you, Chip. Thanks for letting us use the platform to help the community.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate it. Kristen, thank you for being here as well. And thank you for the information that you provided tonight. You both take care, and I hope that it's a big time success. Marilyn, I hope you check in with me afterwards. I'm very, very curious to find out, what kind of attendance and what kind of crowd you have for an event like this. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Dementia and Alzheimer's. This is something that people deal with every day. Kristen said that the reason why is because folks are getting older. And you know what? That's why we see more issues with this, because people are getting older. So listen, if you can make it out on the 11th to the Benjamin Hooks Library on Poplar, you should do so. I think it will be something that will be very beneficial to you and your family. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will continue on this Monday edition of Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Don't go away. We still have more to go. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from Tresvent, located in the heart of Memphis at 177 North Highland. Tresvent is where culture and community come together, offering independent living apartments and garden homes ranging from 650 to 3,000 square feet, as well as all levels of care in assisted living, memory support, and a 5-star health and rehab center. More information to schedule a tour at tresventmanor.org. Support for WYXR, including our 2024 Stereo Session series, comes from the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, honoring Memphis icons like Sid Selvage and many others whose enduring contributions to music are still inspiring and influencing people worldwide. The 2024 Memphis Music Hall of Fame ceremony will be held Friday, September 27th at the Cannon Center for the Performing Arts, honoring James Carr, the Gentrys, Jazzy Faye, Wicked Wilson Pickett, and more. More information at memphismusichallofFame.com.
Laser Live returns to the Memphis Museum of Science and History, and this year, WYXR DJs are in the mix. The series features live bands in the AutoZone Sharp Planetarium set to a laser light show. Each show will also showcase a set by a WYXR host, and refreshments from Crosstown Brewing Company will be available. More information can be found at moshmemphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. It's beautiful outside, but it's hot. And I think we've all been warned, so we should all take the necessary precautions. But listen, that first segment we talked about dementia and Alzheimer's and basically, the senior population who is mostly affected by it. We're going to talk a little bit about health and wellness of those who are getting up in advanced age and how we can all, be a part of trying to help to make things better for them as they do gracefully get older in life. I'm real happy to have Paul Martin. Paul is the Vice President of Health and Wellness for Tresvant here in town, and he joins me now. And Paul, it's great to see you. How are you tonight?
Chip, I'm doing great.
Well, listen, man. Glad to have you. Thank you. He's outside. If you're watching this on Facebook, he's outside on his patio. He says he's chilling. I don't know how you do. Now, that's a cool dude. If you can chill when it's 99 degrees outside, you all right with me, my friend. But listen, thank you for coming on the show tonight. First things first, Paul. For those who don't know, now Tresvant, you shorten your name. Tresvant is what? What is Tresvant exactly?
So Tresvant is technically Tresvant Episcopal Home. We are a senior retirement community. Some people call us a CCRC, maybe life plan community. But we have independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, all on a gorgeous landscape, 14-acre campus right in the heart of Memphis.
Now, when I got some information about you initially, you were going to talk a little bit about the health and wellness of folks, who are living in their golden years and their senior years. And this might be a silly question, but I mean, how do we do that? I mean, obviously, we're all getting older, and
Yep.
we all want try to live a certain quality of life. And it sounds to me like quality of life issues are extraordinarily important to you. If I'm right about that, please explain.
Yeah, so quality of life is huge, particularly in the senior population. So what we want to do at Tresvant is really not only focus on the physical, but the mental, the spiritual, the holistic approach. And we do that in a variety of ways. I mean, we've got an incredible program that looks at all aspects of it, not only just from the wellness portion of it, which is a lot of people think about the physical aspect of it, but we look at the person as a whole, and we cater to whatever is going on in that person's life, and we make sure that we create programs and opportunities for that person to be involved as much or as little as they want to be within not only Tresvant, but in the broader Memphis community.
One of the things that you're talking about, and one of the things that makes me think about this is brain health, and you obviously have a wide variety of programs there, but being able to manage stress and
Yep.
brain health and being social in a facility like yours, and I would imagine at a certain point in a person's life, if they become, say, physically, disabled or handicapped, or just because of age, you can't get around as much, you can't do things as much. You have facilities like this. Talk about the importance of socialization. Just because you get old and just because you may not be able to live at home anymore does not necessarily mean, and you said this, that you have to suffer much from the quality of life. But why is it so important for them to be able to be around other folks their age and be able to socialize on that level?
Well, socialization is huge. I mean, we've seen, particularly with the COVID pandemic, people that are isolated, people that are withdrawn. If you do not get out, if you are not part of a larger community, we've just seen so many problems, both medically, physically, mentally, everything. And so a place like Tresvant, we offer so many programs that allows the person to be involved in so many different activities, whether it is with our brain games. We have a person that comes in that really challenges them mentally. We have so many different physical, whether it's within the aquatic therapy, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's yoga, whatever. It's the socialization that really is the important thing. So whether they're getting to Tresvant, whether they're going to one of the community centers, whether they're going to their church and being involved in social activities, what we've seen so much of is they've got to be involved. They've got to be around other people. They've got to be stimulated. And it's challenging them in so many different ways. And so with this, it's so important.
some people really, I mean, and I think, you emphasize the point. I think at a certain point in time, all of us have to start looking at our own health and our own, our own situation. I don't know if you heard any of the prior conversation to you, but we talked a lot about Alzheimer's and dementia, which is a very, very, very big deal these days.
Absolutely.
And one of my guests said, we're seeing more cases because people are living longer. Is that, from your perspective, is that true? I mean, are the life expectancies going up a bit in terms of our senior population?
Oh, yes. I mean, as you can see from, if you look at any of the longitudinal studies, people are living longer. And that does not mean that you're going to be senile. It doesn't mean that you're going to have dementia. It doesn't mean you're going to have Alzheimer's. What it means is that with so many different activities and so many different opportunities, the more that you're involved, the more that you get your brain involved, the more activities that you're in, the more that you do that really strengthens and challenges you, we see so many declines in Alzheimer's. What we don't want to see are people that are isolated, people that are sitting at their home, people that are just relying on the TV for their entertainment. Also, as people age, and there's going to be absolutely a certain population and a certain percentage that gets dementia and Alzheimer's. And while Alzheimer's is a type of dementia, we want to ensure that as many of those people have an active and quality of life, regardless of whether they are mentally competent, whether they're challenged, whether they've got Alzheimer's, whether they've got dementia.
What role, Paul, does, and I think you alluded to it, but I mean, again, I think it bears repeating and emphasizing. What role does the family unit have in this? Your family, the family of a particular person, a senior. What role do they have in ensuring that their loved one is not only being taken care of, but I mean, they can play a vital role too in the socialization and a lot of other things pertaining to this. Am I correct?
Oh, yes. So family are the first ones that are going to see this. Whether it's somebody that lives alone, whether it's somebody that's in a multi-generational family unit, what you want to look for are things that, is this person starting to withdraw? Is this person starting to, have these same habits over and over and over again? And you want to break that because, again, you want to challenge the brain. You want to make sure that these people are involved, that they're involved in the community. Get them to church, get them to activities that they did in their younger days, with even if they're in their middle ages or whatever. If your grandmother used to cook, definitely get them in the kitchen and cook with them. If they used to do needlepoint or something, get them involved in something, whether it's helping to pick out fabric and patterns, whether you're going to make a quilt or not, it doesn't matter. You've got to get them involved. Families, y'all are the first ones that absolutely see this. And when it comes to long-term care facilities, when it comes to licensed healthcare facilities, when it comes to us, it's usually at a point where families are either at their breaking point or they've not been involved and it's too late. So the more the families are involved, the earlier they're involved, the more that we can help them, whether they're in our building or whatever. We are more than happy to help talk them through and figure out what is it that they can do to help make mama or daddy be involved and be productive in society.
And I get from what you're saying. Don't throw them away, man. I mean, if they still have life and they don't just drop them off at the facility. Forget about them and just leave them there. You as a family member can be just as active a part of their life as you folks out there to do what you do at Tresvant. I think that's an extraordinarily important note that you're saying. Look, I mean, you know what? Just because you can't do a couple of things doesn't mean it's time for you to check out yet. And all of us need to kind of understand that, don't we?
Yeah, even if it's just as simple as them helping cook or helping fold laundry or helping with any housework. I mean, growing up, I had my grandparents living with my parents, and having them involved and having them as part of my life, not only did that enhance their life, it enhanced my life as a grandchild.
There you go.
I can't tell you how much I loved having my grandparents as a part of that. I had my grandmother on my mother's side. She lived with me in one of my nursing homes. My grandfather lived 10 miles from me in a nursing home. I loved having them. I took my grandfather so many times. He loved baseball.
Yeah.
I would go on the weekends. We would go in just, it didn't matter what baseball game it was. He loved baseball. So get your family involved. Make them a part of your life. You cannot ignore them. Because the more active you are with their life, the more involved that you are with their life, the more meaningful it's going to be with you as you go forward.
Paul Martin, very well said. Vice President of Health and Wellness at Trezevant, and kudos on the work that you're doing out there, and understanding the importance of that we all have value, no matter how old we are. We all have value. We can contribute something, and we don't need to throw each other away. Paul, thank you for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, and God bless you for the work that you're doing out there.
Absolutely, Chip. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You okay, Lo? She good. All right. You got a little coughing thing going on there. That to me was you could hear him getting a little emotional. I mean, it's and when you think about things like this, and when you think about the generations of families, and the memories that go along with that, you can't beat that. We're gonna take one final break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna wrap some things up. But I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. My next guests are unable to be with us this evening, but Lola's here and Bryn's here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about a couple of things when we get back. Don't go away. Real Talk Memphis still in effect. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in to WYXR 91.7 FM. Chris Rowling here, host of Dippin' Your Hip on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. As a listener-supported station, WYXR thrives on your support, not just as listeners, but as active contributors. So, I'm asking you to become a sustaining member today. Head on over to WYXR.org/donate and hit that donate button to keep your favorite WYXR DJs and hosts on the airwaves. Plus, our monthly donors get their own WYXR merch and a ton of other perks. Our way of saying thanks. Visit WYXR.org/donate today, become a monthly donor, and let's help keep the station with the city soul going strong.
Support for WYXR comes from Trezevant, located in the heart of Memphis at 177 North Highland. Trezevant is where culture and community come together, offering independent living apartments and garden homes ranging from 650 to 3,000 square feet, as well as all levels of care in assisted living, memory support, and a 5-star health and rehab center. More information to schedule a tour at trezevantmanor.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to the big broadcast. As I stated a few minutes ago, our 901 day guest had some issues and couldn't be with us tonight. But I have Bryn and I have Lola, and I wanted to talk about something that is a very, very important. I mentioned it at the top of the show. I mentioned it again. We have a big election coming up. and no matter who you support, and no matter who's think you have who you think has a better program for the future, that's on you, and that's up to you. But the real importance is voting. And I wanted to get these two in on. Well, we had a couple of minutes here. I wanted to get these two in on this conversation. I had said before that women are going to be key to this election because there are various issues that confront them. But I think young people are also going to be a part of it. They're both younger than I am, but I think young people have a great role in this. And I've not seen this kind of energy since Barack Obama ran in 2008. And I wanted to ask them both kind of what they thought about this. Bryn is the youngest of the team here, and Bryn, are you keeping up with kind of what is going on out here, and maybe are you sensing a bit of a shift in terms of the importance of voting in this election?
I think so. I think with young people, there's still a lot of voter apathy. But I think the switch from Biden to Harris definitely sparked a lot in people. And I feel like the Democratic Party as a whole has been listening to people on the left and progressives a lot more than maybe they did even last year. I think they realize that they need the left to win. They can't just ignore these people because the last election was so close. It's going to be really close again, probably. And they do need, they need the left and progressives.
That's interesting that you say that because people are paying attention to this in terms of really the future of this country. And now there is a real choice. When Biden was in the race, we all know that there was not a lot of enthusiasm there. But since things have changed, there is a lot of enthusiasm there. And I wanted to, because you're out there all the time, and you're pretty knowledgeable about what is happening, out here from the female perspective, and just as a younger voter yourself, what do you see in terms of where we are now in the landscape?
Right now, like Bryn was saying, I think that Kamala joining the race has really been a fire starter. I mean, not even though some of us are Democrats, we may not have been too excited about Biden. So it's nice to see this fire spark with the voting population. People are registering to vote. People who weren't registered before. I mean, our democracy is at risk this election. It's very important. The last time that Trump was in office, as a woman, we lost our reproductive rights. So this is a very important election. I mean, how can the government tell you what to do with your body? That's insane.
And, having said that, and many women feel this way, I said before, and I'll say it again, I think women are going to play an extraordinarily important role. I think young people are going to play a role in this. And because people are interested now. I mean, and then when you think about Project 2025, or whether you support it or you don't support it, it's out there. That's another thing that we were talking about. Bryn was talking about young people fired up and engaged in this. All of a sudden, I mean, it went from I'm not interested in this, and now all of a sudden it's it's just an explosion. And they are. There's the registrations. They're up now, and the volunteerism is up now. I mean, there really is something to be involved in, and I think really for young people who are our future. I talked to my daughter about this last night. I mean, there really is there's a difference that we haven't seen in decades in terms of this.
Definitely. The young people are really stepping up. We have a lot of things going on in the world right now. And young people have been really vocal with protests, what's going on in the Gaza. Yes. And they really kind of stand on business, as people like to say. And they're really fired up, and they want to see some change. Yeah,
I was going back and I was thinking about what Bryn was talking about. I mean, when you realize that you can play a role in this, in this election, and you can make a difference. I do agree that this is going to be a close race for whatever anybody has to say about it. This is going to be a close race, one way or another, depending on your point of view and your and what you want to see in terms of direction. Bryn, have you in elections past, have you been as enthusiastic or interested as you seem to be in this particular race?
I think as I've gotten older, I've been paying attention more because I'm becoming a member of society still. So even just living here, things are going to affect you, and you've got to understand the forces that play a role in your life. I understood the importance of the 2020 election a lot. Voted for Biden. It seemed like we were in a very crazy place 4 years ago. I think things have kind of, I won't say got worse, but things are still very, very important. And like you said, it will probably be a close race. And, like Lola was saying, there are rights on the line that could be lost with another Trump presidency.
I'm having a problem, Lola, and I have ever since the overturning of Roe versus Wade and I tend to agree with it. I individual rights are extraordinarily important.
Extraordinarily.
And I have always had a problem with anybody government in particular, trying to tell me how to be, how to act, and what to do. And I'm sort of, I've always been on the wagon. You can't. I just don't understand how you can sign a law to tell somebody what they can or cannot do with their body. Now you're a mother. You have a beautiful daughter, and she's doing well. But when you hear that kind of conversation, I know for a lot of women, anger is the first thing that comes into this. But what else do you think about when you hear conversation about the possibility that if you go one way or the other, this could be law all over this country?
It's scary. It's very scary, and not just with women reproductive rights, the LGBTQ plus community. Their rights are at stake also.
That's true.
Like the slogan, "We're not going back." Mm-hmm. You guys are trying to take us back to the 40s and 50s. Yeah. It's 2024. We've all progressed. People come to America for the freedoms. No one wants to be under a dictatorship. We want to live our lives the way we want to live them. You want to ban abortion, but you're not going to help me raise this child that you're forcing me to have. Or I'm going to lose my life because you're forcing me to have a child that my body can't even provide for. It's really scary.
It is. And, as we're about to get out of here, I wanted to talk about this because, we don't get a chance to engage much, when we're doing what we do on a daily basis around here. But this is important stuff. And regardless, again, of who you feel like you want to vote for, I don't really care about that. What I do care about is you get down and going to vote. Because you can't change anything anywhere sitting at home. And the very people that sit at home are the ones that like to complain about things if it doesn't go their way. So as Bryn plays this out, thank you, Bryn. Thank you, Lola, for taking a couple of minutes to talk to me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. And as Bryn plays this out, listen, this has been a good show. I hope you learned something tonight. I hope you learn something every time we have this broadcast. And we really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate you supporting Real Talk Memphis. Lord says so. We'll be back next week. Try to do it again all over again. A little bit better, of course. In the meantime, in between time, please be safe out there. Be careful out there. Be mindful of the heat, because the heat's not mindful of you, and it will do some damage. So anyway, for all of us here, for Brand, for Level Lola, and for yours truly, thank you for being a part of this broadcast. And we hope to see and talk to you soon. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. We are out.
It's real talk.